Tata Kamsana Gorangi Hare Vrindavaneshvari Vrichavan Sute Devi Brahmani Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanand Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurani Prachari Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prachachari Shatari Panchakar Gyacha Kripa Sindhu Gyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
What is the goal of spirituality? It's to understand our reality, and also what is the supreme reality, the one which englobes everything, pervades everything, and that links us to everything. Because the Jivatma, the soul, is infinitesimal, very minute, small. It's like just a spark. Whereas the Supreme is all-powerful. When we are very small, we don't try to be very powerful, because we will do mistakes. And those mistakes, they will not be good for us, nor for the other ones also. That's why one of the principles of love is taking shelter. Sharanagati. It's the principle of love. If there's no shelter, how can we express love? When we think we are the origin of everything, but we are not the origin and we are imperfect, then we're not a shelter, we're a cheater. When I was a child, sometimes I'm telling this story. I was living in a suburb which was a very dark mood. My father was an alcoholic, and in this small block there was 3 buildings and a lot of alcoholics. And it's strange when we are a child to live with alcoholic people. You take the lift and there's a guy just on the floor wasted, and you're very small. But your father is like this. So you just evolve in a world, and you don't have another choice than accepting this world. But it doesn't mean that there's no beauty. And in this evolution, my parents never told me that I would suffer in this world. Never. But still, I was seeing my mother crying every day. But they never explained to me that this world is a world of misery. Because they didn't have the power, the knowledge, to get out of this by themselves. And I was seeing them every day, day after day, being miserable. And I was seeing all the people around me suffering. I could see this suffering. But because I didn't have any solution to see something else, what did I do? I said to myself, I don't want to be like them. But it's not that I could think like this. It was unconscious, because I didn't have even the power to think, because I didn't have any other view of the world than
Je
this
pouvais
one.
pas comparer
I couldn't compare
parce que j'avais pas le
because
pouvoir
I
de
didn't have the
comparer.
power to compare,
Je connaissais que ça.
because I knew only this.
Mais au fond de moi-même,
But in the bottom of myself, there was this rejection of this
je savais pas. Je
world.
ne voulais pas
I
être comme eux.
didn't know, but I
Donc
didn't
je
want to be
devenais
like
comme
them,
eux.
so I became
C'était mon
a
seul
thug.
moyen
It was
de pas
my
devenir
only
comme
way
eux,
to not become
de
like
pas
them,
rentrer dans cette
to
société.
not come inside this society.
Je pensais
I
qu'en
thought
devenant un voyou,
by becoming a thug,
les gens auront pas d'emprise sur moi.
people could not get a hold on me. Police, the system.
Mais en fin de compte,
But
c'est pas une liberté.
in the end, I realized this is
Ils
not a
disent
liberty.
oui, maître.
They say no God, no
Mais ils
masters,
sont contrôlés.
but they are controlled.
Ils ont beau se faire des tatouages partout.
They can put a lot of tattoos on their body, have a bike, and say I'm free,
Ils sont rien libres du tout.
but they're not free at all.
Quand la mort vient,
When death comes,
alors c'est fini.
then it's finished.
Et
And
c'est quelque chose que j'ai
it's
vraiment eu du mal
something
à
that
comprendre.
was very hard for me to understand because I didn't have any other example.
Mais lorsque j'ai eu un exemple,
But when I had an example,
lorsqu'on m'a permis de
when it
pouvoir
was
comprendre qu'on
I was
pouvait avoir
allowed
une vie intérieure,
to understand that
alors j'ai
we could
commencé
have
à
an internal
réfléchir.
life, I
Et
started
c'était
spiritual
tellement
life,
fort.
and it was so
De la
powerful
même manière que
because
j'étais frappé sur mon
just in
environnement,
the same way that I
avec une
hit
telle
my
haine,
environment with such hatred,
lorsque j'ai eu le pouvoir d'entrer en
so in the
moi-même,
same
je
way,
l'ai fait
when I
avec
had
tellement
the power to come inside of myself,
parce que
I
c'est
did it
ça
with
que
so
je
much
cherchais.
intensity because this was
Cette vie
what I was
spirituelle.
looking for, this spiritual life.
La vie spirituelle,
And
faut pas
spiritual
prendre
life,
à la légère,
we
faut être
shouldn't
très intense.
take it lightly.
Si
It
vous n'êtes
must
pas
be very
intense,
intense. If you're not
c'est
intense,
juste comme un badge.
it's just like
Vous avez
a
des
pin
badges,
you wear.
des tatouages, mais
You
intérieurement, il
have
n'y a pas de
a
dévotion,
patch,
il n'y a
a
pas de
tattoo
connexion.
outside, but inside there's no devotion, there's no connection.
C'est juste externe.
It's just external. There's the look,
Mais intérieurement,
but inside
il n'y a pas d'intensité.
there's no intensity.
Vous n'avez pas de pouvoir.
We don't have the power to have any intensity.
Il n'y a pas de recherche.
There's no,
Vous vous
you're not
sentez
seeking. You just feel good as is. Being a slave, needing to work, you cannot even get free whenever you want, but still you think, oh, I'm good. So there's no intensity. There's no desire to get free, to obtain love.
On est comme un animal.
We're like an animal.
Qu'est-ce que l'animal
What
il fait?
is the animal doing?
Il peut juste subir.
He can only suffer,
Il n'a pas de
nothing else. He doesn't have a choice.
Quand j'étais enfant, j'étais
When I
comme
was
un
a child, I was just like an animal. I didn't have a choice.
J'ouvrais ma fenêtre.
I was opening my window. There was a building in front of me,
Et t'as là, et tu n'as pas envie que les gens te regardent.
and you don't want people to look at you, so everyone is hiding.
Et quand tu rentres, tu
And when you come inside, you see someone else and you say, oh no, not her. Oh, hello, mister. Oh, hello, madam.
détestes tout le monde.
But you hate everyone, and everyone hates you.
C'est particulier.
So it's very special.
Mais dans cet état
But in
d'esclavage,
this state of being a slave,
t'as pas le pouvoir de
you
t'échapper.
don't have the power to get out of it.
Parce que l'échappatoire, il est à l'intérieur.
Because the escape is inside, in fact. This is your karma.
Quand il n'y a pas d'intensité,
So when there's no intensity, you're just like a slave. You just wake up. You say, oh, but this is a good... My situation is nice. Because you don't know your internal life. You don't know the nectar which is inside. And you think, I'm good like this. But if you knew what was inside of us, inside of you, you would leave everything right now.
Parce que tu comprendrais
Because you would understand
peut-être donner,
that everything can be given in a different way.
mais t'as pas la force.
But you don't have the power.
T'as pas la force de t'abandonner.
You don't have the power to surrender.
Même tu mets cet habit-là.
And you're putting this dress.
Tu peux même vivre dans un temple.
You can even live in a
T'as
temple.
pas la force de t'abandonner.
But you don't have the power to surrender.
Parce que tu reviens à tes...
Because you come back to your old habits.
Parce que tu dépends pas.
Because you don't
T'as pas de refuge.
depend on someone. You don't have a shelter.
Ton refuge, c'est toi.
Your shelter is yourself.
Et parce que tu peux pas voir autre
And
chose.
because you cannot see anything else,
Tu vois tes amis et tes
you see friends and enemies. You see duality everywhere.
Quand il y a le refuge,
When there's
tu vois le
shelter,
refuge partout.
you see the shelter everywhere.
Tu vois l'amour partout.
You see love everywhere.
Et quand t'es seul,
But when you're alone,
tu peux pas voir.
you cannot see love.
Tu développes l'insatisfaction.
You develop insatisfaction.
Et même, tu peux même
And you can even reject spiritual life. by thinking
que ça sert à rien.
that it's useless.
C'est pourquoi il faut de l'attention.
It's why we need intensity,
Un désir tellement fort.
a desire so strong.
C'est ça la méditation.
This is meditation.
C'est ça la fixité
This
de la
is
méditation.
being fixed in meditation. If there's no desire, you cannot listen the mantra. You cannot concentrate. You're thinking about so many other things, day after day, without having an experience of your reality.
Rien ne vous est offert.
Nothing is given to you,
Parce qu'il n'y a pas d'intensité.
because there's no intensity.
Comment l'intensité vient?
How intensity comes? When the material desire diminish.
Lorsque par la grâce du
When,
Seigneur,
by the grace of the
vous
Lord,
perdez le goût
you lose the taste
pour la position matérielle,
for material position,
plaisir matériel,
for
alors
material pleasure,
l'intensité
and then spiritual intensity comes. It cannot come other way.
C'est pourquoi cultiver
That's why to cultivate material desires
l'opposé,
is the opposite of spiritual intensity.
on doit cultiver
We should cultivate this intensity.
par une
How?
bonne association
By a good
spirituelle,
spiritual association,
une pratique spirituelle.
by a spiritual practice,
En ayant la connaissance.
by having knowledge.
Pourquoi lorsqu'on
Why?
vit
When we live,
en naissance dans une
when we
situation
take birth in a situation, why we cannot understand it, why we cannot get away from it, it's because we don't know that there's something else.
Quand j'étais enfant,
When I was a child,
quand j'étais dans cette
when I was in this suburb,
et que j'ai même vu des enfants
in this
très
ghetto
grands
kind of,
overdose,
when I even saw some child die of overdose, I didn't have the way to understand.
c'est l'ignorance.
This is ignorance,
Et tu acceptes,
and you accept.
tu n'as pas le choix
You don't have a choice
de devenir comme les
to
autres.
become like the others.
Tu n'as pas le choix.
You don't have the choice,
Et tu fais souffrir tout le monde.
and you're making everyone suffer also,
Parce que tu es frustré.
because you're frustrated,
Il n'y a pas d'amour.
because there's no love.
Quand il n'y a pas d'amour,
And when there's no love,
il faut que les autres paient.
the other have to pay.
Il n'y a pas de connaissance, tu peux
But
pas
because there's no knowledge, you don't understand that the problem is inside of you.
tu vois le problème chez
So you see the problem outside, in the others.
Tu peux tellement détester faire de mal pour cette frustration.
Again, you can hate so much, you can do so many,
Mal, tu peux faire.
you can do so many wrong things.
Et ça peut même
You can hurt so much other people just because of this, and it can even give you some kind of pleasure. It's going up to this.
prendre plaisir.
You're taking pleasure in making others suffering.
Mais qu'est-ce que ça donne?
But what does this give?
Ça peut pas te libérer.
This cannot liberate you.
Tu deviens simplement
You just become like an animal.
un animal.
An animal, he doesn't understand his suffering. He cannot understand.
Quand on est trop plongé dans
When we are too much
on peut pas
inside
comprendre.
ignorance and passion, we cannot understand we suffer. We can understand that we suffer when there's goodness.
C'est le symptôme de la vérité.
This is the symptom of goodness.
Et on voit où on en est.
We realize where we are.
Ça veut dire la connaissance.
This means knowledge.
La connaissance, ça devient comme une glace.
And knowledge becomes like a mirror.
Il faut que je m'en
Oh, I need to get out of this.
si urgent.
It's urgent.
Et là, à ce moment-là,
And at this moment, then we are seeking shelter. And it's very powerful.
c'est pas parce que
And it's not because we suffer materially, it's because we need it. It's not a solution to after start again, to get out of a situation to after start again. No. We want the shelter, to love the shelter, to have a relationship with the shelter. It's different. We want to know love, the true love, not the material love that is hurting, but the love which is liberating. This is spirituality. And this spirituality, it doesn't make us prisoners of material conceptions. I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. Because we're doing the same. We don't hate others, we cannot be with others. We can even kill each other. In such barbaric way also. In the name of love of God. We had examples of this in the past. People that were cut, they are put in like sarcophagus with, so your blood would flow very slowly to get out all of your sins. So it's going up to there, what they call love. So that's why the true shelter must liberate us from the religious conception. Because the religious conception, it's the idea of interested action. I worship God for a better material condition. No. We should worship the Lord to liberate ourselves from the material condition, from the material vision, and to understand the soul. This is the beginning. And when we are free from the tendency to accomplish material activities, pious or not pious, whatever, and when we start spiritual action, where there is a dedication, a surrendering towards the object of love, we act only for him, and him acts only for us, then we can understand what is love. Because what we receive is not small, it's extraordinary, wonderful, limitless. And we attain such a position of receiving the capacity to love Krishna. Krishna means the absolute truth. It means the one who is fascinating, who has unlimited qualities. So, love is a great program. Spiritual life can express itself in so many different ways. When we are touched by true love, then we can understand that this Lord, which is at the origin of creation, he is taking care of all living beings. The body is only an envelope. We receive a body according to our past lives, and a consciousness which is covering our true consciousness, because we desire it. We want it. We want to be free. We want to have our experience, our kingdom. But we will have to leave this body. Everywhere we see people dying. And now, with AI, they're making people when they were young and now when they're old. But this is not scaring anyone. No one is asking the question that I will have to die again. Why? Because inside of us we are eternal, we are the soul. So we don't ask this question to ourselves that at each moment death is coming to eat us. We even don't know how many years we will still live. Some people live 16 years, other 20, 30, 40, 60, 80, 100, maybe, maximum. But death will come. So spiritual life is to understand. I'm here but temporary. Why? What is my truth, my reality? Why do I exist? Is this my truth to take birth, to suffer all my life, just to maintain some people, a family, and then disappear? Is this it? Reality, truth? Someone who has goodness will say no. I exist eternally. But what is this link? What is this truth? This is intensity. I want to know. And according to our sincerity, the Lord, which is accompanying all the living beings, He's giving a shelter, a knowledge, a link. He has this capacity. Even though he's infinite, he can descend to the level of the finite. He can do everything. Some people say it's impossible. It's impossible. But he comes. Why wouldn't he be able to come? He doesn't need to take a material body to come here. His body is Satchitananda, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So if we have a form, if we have feelings, it means this truth also has this capacity. But it's not material. So when this intensity is not inside of us, to understand this link, then we have to take birth again, so that one day this intensity comes inside of us. This is the idea of reincarnation. We evolve towards our reality, our truth. Sometimes we suffer. When we are in ignorance, when we suffer, we don't take shelter. If all the people suffering would obtain faith, we would see it, but it's not the case. But when we touch mercy, then this virtue comes inside. And when this virtue is here, when this goodness is more present, then we're seeking. And then we feel fully appeased. No more frustration. But here we're speaking about a true surge. Not just putting a dress and having some desires and having a hidden life. Our goal is not to understand who we are. There's something else. So this is not working. This mixed life doesn't allow experience. For example, you will understand. Would you give your heart to anyone? I'm asking you. Will you reveal your heart to anyone or give it to anyone? Just open your door, or I'm giving you everything. It's difficult. So this same principle which exists inside of us exists in the truth. The truth cannot reveal to us if we don't have a desire to love the truth. And in proportion that they're surrendering, on the other way also. This is intensity. So if you cultivate a life for yourself, then this truth cannot reveal itself fully. It comes a little bit, but not fully, so that you would be able to fully take shelter and that you would attain purity. So that's why it's something which is gradual. That's why there's this principle of reincarnation. Through reincarnation, we're accumulating faith. And at one point, when it becomes full, then we can see. But we cannot see Krishna simply by saying, "Oh, my friend, I will do a small prayer, and if you don't show yourself, then I forget you. But if you show yourself, then I will give you my life." No, it's not like this. So in the same way that you will not give yourself to anyone, in the same way, why this supreme truth would come if you don't have the desire to be with this truth? It's not possible. Love means love in both ways, in both sides. He has love for you, but you don't have love for him yet. It's here inside, but you decided that you want to love yourself more. And because of this, the truth is becoming smaller and smaller. And when you want to love yourself more and more, this truth disappears. And this truth leaves you everything. You can do your kingdom, your laws, but you cannot be happy. Because you need to take reaction of your actions. Because you are God. But this God cannot liberate himself by himself. He's too small. And you suffer. And at some point, when you suffer, because this truth is merciful, it's leaving a lot of mercy everywhere. And when you take a little bit of this mercy, you say, oh, I understand. I did a mistake. It's taking some time. And then you become humble. Humility. And by humility, by being small, you can see. When you have your pride, when you don't accept that someone chastises you, and that the environment is only the reaction of your past actions, then you cannot have humility. You're angry, you don't understand why they're doing this, why I'm fed up of this. But where is this truth at this moment? It's this monster, no. So at some point, the Lord has to make a way that you lose this arrogance. It will hit you, hit. And at some point, you need to bow down the head. There's no choice. It's not working in other ways for some people. Some people, they need sticks. They need to suffer. Some others, because of past lives, they can understand things without suffering and surrender by love. So, it's a very vast, very big program, because according to past lives, we all have different consciousness and spiritual acquisition from past lives. But this is for everyone, and it's gradual, because it's natural. I see, for example, I saw an American coach, which is coming, 3,000 euro for one seat. The cheapest one is 900 euros to attend to his shows. And he said, you will have success, I guarantee it. But himself, he's suffering. Externally, he thinks he's so great, so big, but inside, suffering will come. It cannot be another way. You can have the greatest wealth in the world, the greatest power. Look at the life of stars. It's terrible. The more they suffer, the more they are famous, it looks like. Because they are giving their suffering, because they're like showing their suffering, and people, because they suffer, they can so you need to study the life of stars. And it's not just one or two or three people like this. So many famous people who suffer, who have suffering so much that they suicide. They have everything, but still they suicide. They have the highest they're being so famous. That's why we cannot be the shelter of other living beings. It's an illusion, because when we become the shelter of others, we suffer. They put like a personage. They want us to be perfect, but we're not perfect, and we're suffering, so we don't have the right to do a mistake. So if you listen to them speak and tell their life, they're suffering. They cannot even be what they are. They need to hide. Can you imagine? It's going up to this point. So people so famous. So we need to go to simplicity, towards simplicity. We are created to be linked to this source of love that we call Krishna. And this link is not just an energetic link. This is the first conception, an energetic link, where we link just to be good, to feel good finally, but not to love, not to have a relationship. This is the cheating in it, in fact, because with this consciousness, we can never see the one who's behind. It's like feeling something, but not seeing it. We cannot exchange. We cannot become ourselves also, because we identify ourselves as an energy. But in fact, we have feelings. We're a person. So we need to understand what is this personal aspect of the truth, because he has the power to reveal himself. And in some books, he's speaking himself also, how to find him, and how to love him. Who are his friends? What is his world? When we study on this truth, we study on ourselves, and we establish this link. And gradually, this illusion goes away. But we need this intensity. Because we don't study just to have a good time. We study to understand our relationship. So spiritual life without intensity is not allowing to attain perfection. But it allows us that in the next life we will continue. If in this life I don't want, it's my right. The Lord will do an arrangement so that we can have a situation in the next life to accept 100%. And this is why it's wonderful. That's why we need reincarnation. Because if we look, we're prisoners with so many attachments. We cannot surrender. There will always be something. It's not possible. I cannot betray them. But at the time of death, the whole thing will be gone. But now we say, oh no, it's not possible. This is what we call material illusion. So we need to have lived lives and lives of intensity to be able to cut attachments and liberate ourselves. It's very rare. Very, very rare. That's why, without intensity is not fanaticism. We're speaking about love. We're speaking about doing things because we don't have any other way, because there's love. And even sometimes, in this material world, in a material point of view, we can quit some people because we love something else more, because we don't have a choice, because it's too strong. So when we speak about intensity, we speak about love. And at this point, we can surrender everything. But when we say to surrender, it's not physically also. But we're speaking about surrendering our illusory relationship, which is nourishing the forgetfulness of our reality. So this is another subject. I went 5 minutes ahead of the time already. But spiritual life is so wonderful and diverse, different. It's not like in the material world, where after some point we know everything about the subject. For example, when we work, at some point we know everything about it. We know it inside out. Or we're taking another way, also will attain some limit. So we're choosing something else. We see children is faster with their toys. They do a toy, and then after they're taking another one, then after they're taking another one. So when we grow up, it's a bit the same. Just it's taking longer. But at the end, we're always hitting a limit. But spiritually, it's completely different. That's why we're obliged to have action in this material world. But if we act for the Supreme Lord, then our activity, our daily activity, is taking another meaning, because it's generating internal life. It's awakening this relationship. Even if externally I'm doing the same things, because I do it for him, then he reveals himself inside of me. And then I realize a higher plane. That's why spiritual life allows truly to englobe everything. And that's why it's wonderful. When there's no spiritual life, our life will not be more than what we have now. There will be not anything more. Is this what I want? This small life with so much miseries inside of it every day, with this boss which is making me like a slave. I'm a slave, but I don't want to say, oh no, I have a good life. So much ego. So much ego. When we understand that we're a slave, then we want to be free. And how we are liberated? Durga Devi, it's her who's keeping this material jail. So it's by good behavior. You need to become a devotee because you are created by the Lord. When you become a devotee, then these material shackles, then these chains, the three gunas, passion, goodness, and ignorance, they become loose, and then you can free. You can be free to be what you are eternally. But we need intensity. We need help. When I'm a slave, but I don't know that I'm a slave, everything is fine. But when I understand the situation in which I am, then I cry. This is intensity. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be in this jail. Liberate me. And then we start to pray truly, to chant the holy names, to worship, but in an intense way. When you have this intensity, when you have this good behavior, then doors are open. Because you cannot open the doors by yourself. You don't have the key. Impossible. You're a slave. You're a conditioned soul. Slavery is identifying yourself with the body. I think I'm a man. I think I'm a woman. This is just slavery. All the weakness you feel, all the lacks you feel, all the desire you feel, this is just slavery. And you are forced to accomplish this. When desires come, you need to accomplish them. This is slavery. When you're a conditioned soul, when you don't have knowledge, you think this is reality. But when knowledge comes, and you understand that you are the soul, then you don't want anymore to be pushed to do something that you don't want to do. But this is possible only if you experiment the true love. Love of God, prime. If you experiment kama, lust, material love, then it's not possible. You can only just suffer and bow down your head. Oh, it's fine, I have my small salary, I'm doing this, but you're a slave. But you don't have the power to bow down and accept and admit it. You don't have the power to take shelter. So this slavery continues. There's a better life with spiritual life, but you're not getting free. But we want to be free. This is what we want. And from there, when sins stop, then we can have true desires, spiritual desire, which appear. And then we can be introduced in a world of love. Thank you very much.